Hi, everybody. This is Joe Jurek, and welcome back to realestateinvestingadventures.com or REIA.fun. Why? Because real estate investing is sure an adventure, and it's always a lot of fun. What am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about not only having some goals, but sticking with this real estate thing. I know some people have told me, as I work with people all over the country, that they start and they stop. Life gets in the way. Sometimes they run out of time. They often might even make an excuse as to why they can't do real estate. So number one, I really believe it's truly important you have some goals. Now, I know you might have thought about them, but I really hope you took the time to write them down. What would I encourage you to do? Really take a few minutes right now, even if you have to pause this video, and write down at least 3 to 5 serious goals as why you're doing this. When I travel the country, sometimes I hear from people telling me they do this because they're trying to do it for their family, their spouse, their children, themselves. Sometimes they feel like they're in a dead-end job going nowhere and they want to get out as soon as they can. Sometimes they just want to have extra money to buy some of the fun things, take a family vacation, maybe be able to go to the movies every now and then, or buy a few little luxuries like a bigger TV or a newer car. Whatever the reason, you have to want it bad enough. So I'd like you to write down 3 to 5 goals, but I'd also like you to write down what I call your own personal mission statement. How bad do you want this? I want you to read that every day, maybe even 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want you to be laser line focus on your commitment to make this happen. Nothing makes me happier than to see people doing real estate deals and achieving their goals. And I feel blessed and fortunate that I run into people and they tell me what they've been able to do. It makes me feel really good. But you have to be what I call laser line focused. You have to know your goals. You have to know maybe on Saturday, you're not going to go to the beach. You're not going to go to the mall. You're not going to go to the movies. Why? Because this is truly important to you. You want to give it the best effort you can. You want to make a difference for yourself, your family, and you have goals. I want you to think about a couple of things also. Imagine you achieve those goals. Maybe you have a goal to be in Hawaii. Imagine the blue waters, the smell of the flowers, the beautiful scenery. You hear the birds, the warm breeze. You smell sea salt in the air. Can't you just feel it? I know I can. And you think, wow, it was really all worth it. I made some sacrifice. I had to say no to certain things, but I did it. And I achieved one of my goals of making it to a trip to Hawaii. Makes you feel real good. You got that spirit of aloha, right? Now imagine you don't achieve that goal. How would that make you feel? You're sitting there hearing about other people take vacations, go on trips. You can't get away from it. You turn on TV and they're talking about going to Hawaii, where you see somebody in Hawaii on television and you think, oh man, are they lucky? Maybe they're lucky, but maybe they worked hard. We don't know. But if you imagine it hurting or you feel some pain, it has to hurt in order for you to do the work, because doing the work is painful and it can be sacrificing. But I want you to do the work. I want you to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So number one, you got to have some goals and you got to read them and you got to stick to them. Number two, you have to have a routine. What I call knowing what you're going to do each day, and just like a game, keeping score. What are you going to do on Mondays? What are you going to do on Tuesdays? What are you going to do on Wednesdays? What are you going to do on Thursdays? What are you going to do on Fridays? What are you going to do on Saturdays? And maybe take Sunday off, which is fine. You also have to keep score. Often I hear people say, well, I want to call a few for sale by owners, but I don't have time. How bad do you want it? If you want to find that off-market deal, you got to call those for sale by owners. So you may say, well, I got to call realtors, but I haven't got around to it today. Here's the thing I want to tell you. If you make 5 phone calls a day, that's 25 calls Monday through Friday, okay? 5 a day, 25 total, it's 100 calls in a month. If you're ambitious enough to make 10 calls in a day, 5 days a week, that's 50 calls in a week. And what does that come out to? 200 calls in a month. Do you think you're going to move your real estate business forward by making 100 or 200 calls? Absolutely. Does it take a lot of effort? It does take some effort, but we're talking 5 or 10 calls a day. Is that worth it to you to make a difference in your life? I think it is. I've worked with so many people that rather than making calls, they make excuses and they don't get to where they want to be. If you want to get to where you want to be, and I know you do, you got to make those calls. So here's the thing. Have a plan. You know, it's that cliche again. People don't plan to fail. They fail to make a plan, right? You want to make a plan. You want to stick to the plan. And you want to have a scorecard. Did you make the amount of calls you wanted to make? Did you look at the amount of properties you wanted to look at? Did you make the amount of offers you wanted to make? And that's okay if you didn't do as good this week, because next week is a new opportunity. I often say pat yourself on the back for what you do. Don't beat yourself up and say, oh my goodness, because sometimes I was this way. I had 10 things to do, and rather than say, wow, Joe, you got 7 of them done, I would beat myself up over the 3. Why didn't I do them? Why didn't I find time? Oh my goodness. And I would stress over the 3 that I didn't do. So it's important to focus on what you did do. It's important to give yourself a pat on the back, but you gotta be focused. You have to have a plan. You know, often I might go to the grocery store, and if I don't write down everything that I need, I'm bound to forget something. I'll get home and I'll hear, where's the ketchup? Well, I don't eat ketchup that much, so I forgot to buy it, right? Oh, where's the mustard? I definitely don't eat mustard. Okay, so it wasn't on the top of my list, or maybe it didn't even make the list. But here's the thing. If you have things that you have to do and they're important, put them at the top of your list. Usually the things that are most fun, you want to drop to the bottom of your list, but those should probably be the things you do right away. If you're focused, if you're conscientious of what you need to do, if you write things down, if you keep score, you're bound to do better than if you don't keep track, you don't keep score, you don't hold yourself accountable. I want you to succeed in real estate investing. I want you to do well. I want you to be able to change your life. I want to continue to share with you things that have helped me. I also want to tell you, if you have the time, maybe go through these videos a second or a third time to see if there's any little nuggets in there that can help you going forward. If you like them, share them with other real estate investors. If you want to leave a comment, I love reading comments too, to hear what you have to share or say or how things are helping you. But I want you to understand this. If you make a plan, if you work the plan, if you hold yourself accountable, you're making progress. You might feel at times you're taking a step back, but as long as you continue to take 2 or 3 steps forward, I want you to think about where you are today compared to maybe when you first started on this journey. I think you're a little bit farther through. I think you're a lot wiser as to what you're trying to accomplish. And I just want you to stick with it. I often say, you know, I have a lot of friends that run marathons and they tell me how grueling it is and training and everything else. You can think of this real estate investing adventure as a marathon. You don't have to run it. You can walk it, and at times you can crawl it, but don't quit. Don't stop. Don't you think about dropping out of the race. Because if you do, I know one thing for certain, you're going to regret it. And if you might look back, if I would have, should have, could have, if I only had have stayed, you know, what is your excuse going to be? You're going to tell yourself, years from now. You can do it, but you know what? You got to take it one step at a time. I often tell people how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. How do you do this? One day at a time, one step at a time, one thing at a time. If you've done one thing after 100 days, you've accomplished 100 things. Small efforts can make big difference. So go out there, work your plan, make the plan, adjust the plan, and keep on getting better at keeping score of what you're doing. And you can hold yourself accountable. You can make your own self-diagnosis of what you need to do better to get yourself back on track and maybe that much closer to your next real estate deal. So until next time, live life in the moment with no regrets. Get out there, enjoy this real estate investing adventure and have fun with it. Believe and achieve. Take care. Bye-bye now.